Hi everyone, this is Himanshu. I am co-founder with Pharma Shots. With me is TJ Sharpe. Uh, Thank you so much, TJ, for taking out time and talking to us. So for everyone, I'll just tell that PharmaShot is an official media partner with Reuters Pharma USA, which is happening in Philadelphia on 18th and 19th of March, 2025, basically this year, in couple of weeks. And with me is TJ. TJ is a patient insights expert, and TJ is going to be in the panel discussion at Reuters Pharma USA. So thank you so much for taking out time and talking to us. Uh, uh, I would like to first take an opportunity and would love to know a little more about you as a person, your experience, and so on and so forth. So can you?
Sure. Thanks, Himanshu, and it's great to be here talking to you guys and looking forward to Pharma USA in just a few weeks in Philadelphia. My name is TJ Sharpe. I am a stage 4 melanoma survivor, which is how I kind of got into all of this. I was fortunate for a number of reasons. One in which I found two clinical trials that eventually got me um, to what we believe is a cure for at least this round of melanoma, but also introduced me to a couple things. It introduced me to the world of advocacy, and I started as a writer and as a melanoma advocate. And in parallel, I was able to enter the world of the clinical operations, clinical research, service provider, and pharma CRO and site world that brought together all the great people that do great things to make clinical research happen. My role in that has been initially as a patient voice, and then as I continue to work in a number of different roles, with pharma companies, with a couple of CROs, with Transcelerate, which is a 501c3 in the industry that makes clinical research better in non-competitive areas. I got to really acclimate to the business of clinical research, but from a patient and from an advocate perspective. So I bring that perspective, not just TJ's, but as best I can, I bring a very general but developed perspective on what are the pitfalls, the roadblocks, the burdens, and the opportunities to make clinical research better, primarily for the patient, but also for all the stakeholders. So that includes the sites, that includes the caregivers, that includes the sponsors. How can we make all of this a better ecosystem? And I'm fortunate enough to have worked on all of those sides, including some of the service provider side, to enable a deeper patient experience or a deeper patient engagement, and the use of patient insights to really drive clinical research.
So thank you so much for that, introduction, TJ. It's really enriching and really motivating as well on the at one end. So thank you for the quick introduction.
Mhm.
My first question is obviously dedicated to the specific topic which you are going as a panelist. So your topic of the panel discussion is complicating is easy, simplifying is difficult, the personalized patient experience. So, not from the pharma perspective, not from a patient advocate perspective, but actually as a patient, because as you said that you were a patient, initially. So, and then that's after that experience, you gain the patient, you became a patient voice. So, as a patient, what is your personal thought for about this topic, basically? So yeah.
So it's funny we use the complicating is easy and simplifying is difficult, because that really becomes what has happened in generating um, patient the output from patient engagement to create a personalized experience. or an optimized experience. I actually kind of like that word as well in there. What we've seen is that it's very easy for us to say we need this, this, and this, and we start hearing inputs and insights from different types of patients, different caregivers, and you can slice and dice the demographics around that, and all of a sudden end up with an overwhelming amount of input that is very difficult to simplify or to distill down into generalized but specific enough insights that then drive the design of a protocol or the development of a consent or an e-consent, the implementation of patient-facing materials, the development of tools, which is part of where my the last 4 or 5 years of my expertise has been sort of in the e-source world and developing patient technologies. That becomes the difficult part, is simplifying all of that complication where you're hearing a lot of it's not noise, because there's a lot of valuable insights in there, but there are a lot of things that you have to filter through to get to the root of what causes burden for a patient and a caregiver, what causes burden for a site, and what leads to a suboptimal trial for sites and sponsors. That kind of takes it becomes like, I hate to say, a lose situation. We are looking for the opposite of that. And when we complicate our trials, it saps from everybody's end goals. And we're looking for that Venn diagram of overlapping areas where everybody gets something that they need. And that's the difficult part, is simplifying this into what is going to be the optimal experience for a specific person on a specific trial, knowing that it's not going to always be the same, but how do we enable us to get as close as we can to perfection without ever really achieving it?
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, another question which comes to mind is that now obviously you've spoken about this from a patient perspective, but what are we doing as you are an outsider who's viewing the industry uh, from the outside view basically, but you're still the part of the industry. So what are your views on how uh, you know pharma companies, biotech companies are, uh, you know, simplifying, how they're trying to simplify things for patients. So that's a key question. So, and your views on that.
Okay. Um, from the sponsor level at pharma, any size pharma, and down to the smallest biotech, there is in some way, shape, or form, there is some sort of patient acknowledgement of patient engagement or experience that's needed. What the industry is sort of shifting to is a model of in some way engaging a patient, or engaging a patient expert like myself, or quite often engaging a group of patients through an advisory board, working with patient advocacy groups, or organizations that work with patient advocacy groups, and gathering as best they can the sort of the holistic view of the journey of a patient with a specific disease or in a specific therapeutic area that they address. There's probably not it's really been focused at this point on the therapeutic area specific. So again, melanoma for me, I can do melanoma, and then someone else might do lung cancer, or you have a pan oncology where we have oncology patients from different specific types of cancer, and then there might be a rare disease or a chronic disease group that dives into the different issues that they have. In a couple of places that I've worked in the service provider world, we've kind of taken that model and turned it and said we need a little bit of everything, because as a service provider, we need to be able to get a little personalization to the into the tools that we're developing. So we're going to need to develop things from all different perspectives and then make that as generalized as possible while still knowing the specific areas that really that we can really both gain traction and gain adoption, and also ease burden without adding it on somewhere else. Where one group may need something, but if a different subset of patients would not need it, or would actually be would make their trial experience more burdensome, we need to be aware of that and design tools and design trials that are adaptable for smaller groups so that there is that personalized experience.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, and I'm not sure if you are would be very happy to answer, but this is kind of a trend which is coming up, and that's the reason we would want to ask you that for patient engagement and patient support programs, and to create a patient centricity, there are presently there are a lot of patient analytics, RWE analysis, real world evidence analysis are being done. So what are your thoughts? Is this something which is just the industry, trend which is going on like an AI, or do you really think that this is something which is gonna add value in terms of betterment of the patient's experience, and will teach some ideas or give some ideas to industry, and that would help with a better patient experience?
We've traditionally had a hard time measuring the impact that patient experience programs have. You can use typical measures that industry uses to measure success in the clinical research world, but that ends up being the thing. For time to accrual, first patient and last, like the typical milestones that we use to measure. We try to surrogate them into patient engagement. And it hasn't really had a one-to-one match. There's more of a correlation than a causation. Where we're seeing now with the advances in ways to measure all kinds of data, and specifically, you could get into things like AI or wearables and digital health technologies, where data is centric to what what those tools provide. You can then probably, and it's still very much in the early phase, but you can start to see that when we involve patients in developing materials, tools, protocol designs, and any sort of personalized trial experiences, then you have the opportunity to say that we did a trial this way or a technology this way, and now we see with some data validating it that there is this impact.
Understood. So another, and this would be last question. I know that you are busy, and so this is going to be last question. Can you think of any patient engagement program, patient support program, which you feel has been out of the box, which has made which has left an impact on you, not maybe at a personal level, but at a as a viewer also. If there is any confidentiality, probably you can avoid saying the name of any company, but yes, any patient support program which comes to your mind, basically, which is worth mentioning.
So there's been a number of different places where I've seen good patient engagement, or have been involved with them myself. At least one large pharma company has done patient councils through either a very specific therapeutic area, but a number of them do this, and they engage patients with a certain diagnosis, or who are caregivers for that, and then they continually engage them for protocol design review, informed consent review, patient technology review, marketing material review. There is a sort of a standard suite of things that are patient facing, that even just a little bit of input from from a patient expert group goes a long way. Similarly, we've seen things in the technology world where patient technologies and digital health technologies have been designed or co-created with patient input. I personally have run, one of those for a number of years, and developed a program where we would continually bring back a group of diverse patients that understood how the business of clinical research worked and how our technology tools were trying to address certain issues, and we would be able to course correct very early in a development process on a technology that would allow it to either be written right the first time or save a lot of rewrite down the road where we kind of get a minimum viable product out and then add on to it and sort of drive the ship in the right direction and make adjustments as we needed to. And it is starting to sort of seep in everywhere. Even one of the large CROs has a very, very active patient engagement program, and they get to bring that type of mentality not to just one pharma company or one service provider, but really across all of them. And the ones who are doing it usually are fairly vocal about it, and they show by example what best practices are. I think I will say, I've said this before many a time, and I will continue to reiterate it, that patient engagement is a non-competitive area. You can't be truly patient-centric if you hoard the knowledge you gather from patients. Now, if you want to do something with a piece of software or a trial, I understand you're not going to share that as a trade secret. But how to be patient-centric and how to engage patients, all that is a rising tide. And when one company, regardless of where they are in this ecosystem, when they start doing it well, they quite often, and they should, broadcast that out, because it is leading by example. It is being a market leader, and it's also sharing best practices so that patients win and trials become better and less burdensome and become more pervasive in our healthcare system, which makes everyone in the ecosystem win.
That's really great. I'm sorry, my throat is little. So yeah, that's really great, TJ. And thank you so much for taking out time and talking to us. I'm personally going to be there at Pharma USA, and I will definitely be attending your session for sure. So yeah, I'm looking forward to listening to you and the other panels on this topic, because this is very interesting. This has something to do with patients, and that's what the whole industry is working for. So thank you so much for taking out time, and it was lovely talking to you. Have a great day. And as soon as we publish this, my team and Reuters team will share this with you.
Sounds
Thank you.
great. Thank you. I'm looking forward to meeting you there in Philadelphia in a few weeks.